All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. Let me see. I want to share my screen real quick just to get over to my slides. Okay. Can you guys see just the opening slide?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, maybe I need to push one more button. Sorry.
There you go.
Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on the waiting room as well. So bear with me as I multitask. All right. This morning we've got a couple of guests from the city to report back on the West Sugar Creek Playbook. So we'll give them the floor first, but let's just do a quick round of introductions so that we know who's here. And I'll start and then I'll call on you guys as I see you. I am Teresa McDonald, and I am a realtor with Allen Tate, a resident of Derita since 2007. I'm on the Allen Hills, I'm not on the Allen Hills, sorry. I live in Allen Hills, and I'm on the Derita Statesville Road Community Organization Board. And Erin Chantry, you're next.
Okay, my name is Erin Chantry. I am the program manager of the Urban Design Center with the Planning, Design and Development Department. And yes, I've been working on wrapping up the West Sugar Creek Playbook.
Great, thanks for coming. Mel Renner, you're next.
Yes, a long time HOA president of the Forest Pond community, and I serve on the board of the Derita Statesville organization.
Awesome, thank you, Mel. Erin Gillespie, you're next.
Good morning, Erin Gillespie with the city's Economic Development Department. Good to see a lot of you again. I have been supporting the development of the Sugar Creek Playbook, and in particular, some of the companion economic development studies like the real estate market analysis. And then I also have some information on some of the other studies that took place as well that I'll share later.
So thank you. Nadine Henry.
Good morning. My name is Nadine Henry. I work in the Sugar Springs neighborhood. We are starting our neighborhood association back up. I also teach with Get Set Up for education for seniors, people over 50 years old, with free classes that you can learn everything from origami to how to balance your checkbook.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nadine. Let me see. I can't see names. Aisha.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Aisha Sabor. I work for the City of Charlotte in the Community Engagement Division, and it is good to see you all.
Welcome. Thank you. John Hoig.
Hi, Jonathan Hoig, resident of Allen Hills for about 30 years now.
Welcome. Randy Harris.
Hey, good morning. My name is Randy Harris, and I work in the Community Engagements Division, and my department is the Housing and Neighborhood Services Division. So the Derita Statesville area is within our Northwest service area. Aisha Sabor and our partners.
Wonderful. Glad to see you here, Randy.
Thank you. Good morning.
Jeffrey Simpson, welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I got a new computer, and so as I'm just turning on for the first time, and all right, let's skip all that. Anyway, good morning to you.
Good.
My name is Jeffrey Simpson. I'm the president of the HOA with the Farmington Association HOA. glad to be with you.
Welcome. Let's see, Carrie Miller.
Hey everyone, I'm happy to be here. I am on the board at Avalon and Mallard Creek here in Derita. Just here as a neighborhood advocate. Yeah, happy to be here.
Mark W.
Hey everybody, I live over by Nadine, Mineral Springs Road, and concerned local resident trying to get some Adopt a Highway going and other granola bar type stuff.
Thank you. Shantae Bullock.
Hi, my name is Shantae Bullock, and I currently sit on the board of Scottsboro HOA board.
Okay. Oh my gosh, my screen just went black. Are you guys still there? Oh, whew.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. I might have a loose connection. All right, Jill Campbell.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. This is Jill. I am the longtime HOA board president for General's Point off of Gibbon Road.
Thank you. Brent Jones.
Good morning. My name is Brent Jones. I was on the community member involved on the Sugar Creek Design Sprint back in the day with Aaron Gillespie and others. I also am on the steering committee for the U City Family Zone, which does mostly work in the Hidden Valley area, but that's Derita's neighbor. And my wife is on the HOA for Harrington Woods.
Okay, great. That's a nice little geographic spread. That's good to hear. Good to have you here. Let me see, Dr. Penn.
And I live in a university area, not too far from Sugar Creek, Derita, and serve on the Great Oak Board. And I'm also the chair of Mecklenburg County Parks and Recreation. Thank you.
Thank you. Have I missed somebody? Jack, I don't think you're connected to audio. Jack Brosh is here. Have I missed anybody? Jack, are you ready to introduce yourself? I don't know if you're connected. All right. I see Jack, but I'm not sure if he's connected to audio. He is also on our Derita Statesville Road board and a resident of Kelsey Glen off Hubbard Road for 20 plus years. We've got one more person coming in that I would like to make sure he introduces himself. Hasheem, you're just in time to introduce yourself.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hasheem Halim. I live in the heart of Derita, and I'm an architect. I don't know what else to say.
All right, I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, speak up. All right. So the first item, and I think I have to stop sharing, and we'll let Erin Chantry share her slides. The first item is an update on the on the Sugar Creek Corridor Playbook process. So we're excited to hear. A lot of us were involved in many of those meetings and surveys and on the ground picture taking and tours, trying to communicate our issues to the city. So let me stop sharing and take it away, Erin.
All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, Erin and I are just here to give you an update on the West Sugar Creek Playbook. We have a draft complete, which is very exciting. So just kind of want to hit the main highlights of it. We're going to ask you all, it's going to be posted on our Corridors of Opportunity webpage this week, either today or tomorrow. We will send you all a link so that you can review it in detail and take your time. And then we're going to be collecting feedback before we release our final draft. So many of you all may have been involved in the I-85 Sugar Creek Design Sprint. And from that project, 3 immediate action items came out of it, which were streetlight improvements and security cameras, and then going into the West Sugar Creek corridor playbook process. So just kind of to hit on those, with our street light improvements, Q4 of 2022, which just is government talk for, the end of this year. There will be new streetlights along the corridor at these locations. And there will also be an upgrade of existing streetlights to LEDs. And there is a map here of where you can see the lighting, the street light improvements happening here at the interchange. So that is an update on one of the action items. The other is the Safe Biz Charlotte pilot, 3-year pilot program that the city of Charlotte is working with Duke Energy to install, configure, and maintain cameras at participating businesses along the I-85 Sugar Creek corridor. And so CMPD, public safety agencies will be able to access this video. So I know that this is just kicking off in being project managed by CMPD. So these are the security cameras, which was another one of those action items. And then the West Sugar Creek Playbook, which we're here to hit the highlights of today. So as I said, the final draft is complete and it will be posted this week. We are really hoping for you to be able to review it. Y'all were very involved and instrumental in its creation and engagement. And so it's really important to us that you be able to review it and fill an online form for feedback, or however you'd like to get it to us. But we have set up an online form to be able to collect feedback. So just to talk about the vision, the West Sugar Creek corridor will be a collection of strong businesses and neighborhoods that are safe, diverse, and walkable. Vibrant retail, viable transportation options, open spaces, and housing strategies will allow existing and new residents to benefit from the investments of the corridor. So this is what we heard as a vision in our engagement with communities along the corridor. And looking at the investment, focusing on the 3 focused areas of the interchange, Hidden Valley and Derita. So that's the 3 focus areas that we're centering our recommendations around. So all of our recommendations are meeting the below priorities. These, once again, these priorities developed with the communities, improving community safety through reducing transactional crime, improving pedestrian safety, creating gateways with improved open space, enhancing business property, and creating new job opportunities, and further develop the workforce. And so those are the recommendations are focused on those below priorities. So the playbook process reinforced what we learned in the design sprint, which is the safety at the I-85 interchange is an enormous issue for the entire corridor. So there are short-term, mid-term, long-term action items coming from community safety and housing, which was using code enforcement and existing businesses to keep pressure on hotel issues, finding private sector partners on social services and potential development, working through existing partnerships to implement an action plan for the hotel sites, and a very long-term solution is the city possibly purchasing properties for redevelopment. So those are the recommendations for community safety and housing. Moving to pedestrian safety, improving pedestrian safety through different projects like sidewalks and crosswalks and pedestrian signals, as well as the alignment of streets in certain areas along the corridor. Open space and gateway improvements. So these are just like concepts to not real yet, but just to concepts to show how we can enhance existing spaces or create community spaces and commercial nodes along the corridor that can be programmed by the community to support businesses, especially at gateways along our corridor. Business property enhancement, so bringing updates and retrofits to outdated properties that attract tenants that bring businesses to meet community goals. So those that are diversified and provide well-paying jobs, places to spend time, complementary retail services, and to maintain an attractive street frontage. And job creation and workforce development. So attracting businesses that bring those jobs that match local talent or build local talent to reduce employment or areas of concentrated poverty. So those are the main recommendations, the vision, the focus areas. Obviously, the playbook goes into much more detail on all of those, as well as a very large implementation table with project ideas that are mapped. So it really kind of gets into the nitty and gritty and detail, probably way more than we have time to do at for an update today. But once again, those next steps are comments on the first draft. I'll make sure you all have a link when it's posted. We will then complete the final draft and publish. City of Charlotte leadership will meet to determine which projects from that list move forward to receive funding, and then we'll start project teams and start implementing that those later this year. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Erin to talk about the economic development studies.
Hey, so I'm going to dive into the companion economic development studies. These were all underway or done in support of the overall playbook process. So I know we talked about the real estate market study a lot. We had those consultants along the way in presenting updated information and their data analysis throughout those public meetings last year. But we also had 3 other studies that were underway, and they all sort of overlapped or aligned with the Sugar Creek Corridor Playbook work. There was a labor market study done by EY. EY is the name of the consultants. And that looked at the local talent living in the corridors. They defined the corridor based off of like at a zip code level, so they could get a broader look. And that's really where some of the jobs conversations came in. At the same time, there was an industrial land use study that was conducted by some of our teammates. It was overall, that study looks at almost the county as a whole, but they had a couple key geographies where they zoomed in and did an extra analysis. And the Sugar Creek Graham industrial cluster was one of those. So there were a couple ahas out of that study that we've pulled up and incorporated into the playbook. And then there was also a companion small business study looking at basically the state of small business and the small business ecosystem along the corridor. So the real estate market study had a couple, these are the recommendations that came out of each that were relevant to the playbook. And the market study was important because one of their key focus areas were the cluster of hotels and motels at the interchange. And I know we've talked about those extensively, and everyone sort of had that sense that, yeah, there's too many for what that market needs right there. And we know the issues that those are kind of driving as well. So the market study really gave us the quantitative analysis to say, yes, there is an oversupply of hotel rooms and motel rooms at the 85 Sugar Creek interchange. And that's really important to help support, you know, whatever implementation or conversion happens afterward as a result of the playbook. So the market study recommends, you know, working with the owners that are, you know, more likely to be part of a chain or a flagship, or the ones that are locally owned and are, you know, really making a good effort. They're good partners with the city and with the community, and really operating in a way that's more positive. So enhancing the support for those owners and helping them, you know, revitalize and rehab their properties and upfit. And then for the hotel and motel properties that are maybe more obsolete or are really just having a more negative impact, supporting the conversion of those to some other use, or, you know, that's more beneficial for the corridor. You know, the second recommendation, which is probably less relevant to the Derita Statesville area, but leveraging the development around the transit area down at the Sugar Creek Station. We know that's a very important anchor for the southern end of this corridor. And that is where a lot of the office and office job investment will take place. And then for the entire corridor, protecting the existing and naturally occurring affordable housing stock that exists today. And this is, you know, of course, probably a recommendation that's citywide across all corridors, but whatever affordable or naturally affordable housing that exists today, we need to make sure our policies are strong enough to protect that. And build more. Housing is likely to be the highest demand or most immediate development opportunity, especially for the Derita area. And then rehab and reimagine underutilized retail centers. The market study looked at what specific properties could be targets for enhanced revitalization or an additional like incentive from the city to support rehab and redevelopment. And of course, a number of those are clustered at the downtown Derita area. And that is the sort of other highest or most likely development opportunity for the Derita area is, you know, that's really going to focus on housing and retail. And really, I think that aligns with the vision that came out of the playbook, or, you know, that you all brought to that process of really building up the downtown Derita district. The market study, the labor study, like I said, it looks at both the current labor market and then also what kind of employers are in the area. So this became, it has a big focus on supporting the existing industrial cluster that's, more centered along Graham Street and 85. That's actually a very important industrial cluster for the entire region. And it can really support a lot of that last mile distribution and warehousing, which, there's a lot of expanded employment and job opportunities in that industry right now. One of the key recommendations out of this study was an opportunity employers program. So targeting the employers that either are already located in the area or who could expand into that area, and incentivize them to locate, invest in this area, and then also hire locally from this local talent market so folks can get jobs closer to where they live. And then of course, it also dives into some of the barriers to employment or career growth, and has recommendations around those. And then it really ties, connects a couple dots across all of these studies, and understanding the importance of equitable commercial development and what that can really bring and drive in terms of job opportunities. The industrial land use study, it really helps us understand the function and importance and relevance of that industrial cluster at Graham Street for this entire corridor as an employment opportunity cluster, and then also its role in a more regional sense. And so it makes recommendations for us to take back about making sure that those properties are, continuing to be revitalized, rehabbed, modernized, and have the appropriate infrastructure needs to continue being very relevant, providing those opportunities. And then the small business study, they did a pretty extensive engagement effort in trying to really get down on an almost qualitative basis, what are the needs of small business owners that exist on the corridor today. It certainly has not been an easy run for small business owners over the last couple of years. They've been hit on a lot of different fronts. And so what really came out of this study, the recommendation is that we really just need to build up the trust and awareness within the existing small business community, build up that network and community, and really develop a more tailored communications plans for bringing existing resources to those small business owners. It's a completely different engagement strategy than almost any of our other work that we did, when we're reaching out to residents or employers or anything like that. Reaching those small business owners is can be really challenging. And so our recommendation there is that we keep trying and really building up that group so that there's like a real advocacy there among that group. And that really feeds into a lot of the other recommendations that you'll see in the playbook about building up business organizations and business associations to really start to develop the momentum of that downtown district. And then I think our next slide, there were a couple business matching grants that we've awarded recently on the corridor that I always like to highlight because this is an existing tool that we have that we'd love to see used more. And we're hoping that the playbook helps us to do that. But both of these are south of 85. But I think they're really important. 610 West Sugar Creek is a small retail store on the Hidden Valley neighborhood side. And so they are underway on exterior facade renovations and security enhancements. And then the Continental Inn, which is a locally owned hotel, This was awarded a facade, interior, and security grant. So they're doing a complete rehab and upfit of their entire building. And I'm pretty excited about this one, that we were able to award one of the hotel properties at the interchange. So those are underway, and these are the befores, and I hope we'll have some afters very soon to share as well.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Erin. And thank you guys so much for having us. Are there any questions that we can answer at this time?
I do have a couple. Will those studies that Erin was referencing, will they be, can we go and view those, read them?
Yeah,
Will they be linked?
there'll be appendices to the playbook. Most of them, right, Erin?
Yeah, so the EY corridor study, I'll drop the link in a minute into the chat. Those are all posted on our Corridors of Opportunity website. The market study should be a part of, all of the others will become a part of the appendix, part of the whole playbook package. In that first draft that Erin's team posts in the next couple of days, they may not be a part of that one yet. I think there's some that are still being finalized, the document drafts. So, but they will get up there shortly.
Awesome. And then there is a building right in downtown Derita that benefited from a matching grant for facade, I think, and I wish I could quickly pull up a picture, but it's looking beautiful. It's right across from the post office, and it's been an eyesore for more than 10 years.
The 2510, I think.
2510 with Sugar Creek, yes.
So they actually, we awarded them a grant. They went ahead and did the work without the grant. Sometimes the timing on how the grant works doesn't quite work out, but yes, I neglected to mention that one as well. You're right.
Okay. I did not know, that they didn't actually end up using the grant, but all the better. Right? We don't.
Yeah, the outcome's the same.
Private or public investment. I think it certainly gave them the impetus, I think, to actually continue with that renovation, and it looks lovely. I haven't been inside lately, but it just looks beautiful.
Good.
I see a couple of raised hands. I don't see how to see who's raised hands.
Okay,
Charlene. Hidden Valley folks. Charlene, I don't know who was first, so Charlene.
How you doing, Miss Teresa?
Hey, good, thank you. You got a question for the?
Yes, ma'am. I am excited about the playbook. However, I did get on late, so I do apologize. I'm at work. What was the time frame for all of this to start? And is there like a longevity, or is it like, I just want to know the time frame. When will this project begin and start for Hidden Valley or the corridor?
So the playbook we have gone through an engagement process for the last year and a bit for the playbook, and it is now complete. It will be posted on our website this week and there will be a form for feedback. And so we'd love for you to read it and give comments. Now the timeline of each individual project that will be funded, I can't tell you specifically on that. Some projects are faster than others, some require real estate, some don't, but we'll have to see which projects move forward. And there's lots of different possibilities, so I know that might not really be super helpful on the implementation side. The playbook's done, projects will be chosen by leadership here in the coming months, and then they'll be kicked off this year.
Okay. Thank you.
Marjorie?
Is there an expiration date on that process?
No expiration date.
Thank you.
Marjorie.
Good morning. This is Marjorie Parker, Hidden Valley President. I need a couple of copies for some of my seniors that want to read it and they don't have a printer. Is there any way, and I'll pick them up if.
I know that that our communications department is working on getting these printed.
Okay.
And knows specifically to drop them off for those at the Hidden Valley meeting we had last week. And if anyone else in Derita needs them, we can do the same.
Okay, thank you. And should I just drop you an email or?
Yeah, well, y'all can always email me. It's aaron.chantry@charlottenc.gov. But I know they're already working on those copies.
Oh, okay. I just let you know where drop them off or I can pick them up.
Okay.
Aaron.chantry@charlottenc.gov.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you so much.
Jack, did you still want to say something?
Yeah, I do have a question. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate forum, but question regarding the University City Library. I had heard that it was going to be closing down based on the development that's going over in that area, but I just checked this morning and they're showing hours as if they're still open. Do we know anything more, or is that part of the Corridors of Opportunity project, or is there any update on that?
You know, it's not part of Corridors of Opportunity, and the city of Charlotte does not run the library system, so I can't actually speak to that. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. I know that's county.
Yeah.
Jack, I believe that somebody from University City Partners would be able to tell us what's happening there. It's moving across to the new development, as far as I know.
So that offer, so the offer of the property has been accepted, because I saw the last update I saw online is January of 21 from UCP.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to, I mean, there was a lot of talk and a lot of negotiations around that, but as far as I know
he had offered property for a 2-story building facing the lake. So it could end up being a fantastic facility. I will commit to following up on that and update in the May meeting.
Yeah, that'll be great. Thank you. Yeah, it would be nice to get an update on that. All right. Anybody else got anything for our city Sugar Creek corridor people? Let me see what's in the chat. Okay, this link to the study is here. I did have a question that just seems to be glaring missing, is the role of Norfolk Southern and possibly NCDOT in all of this. And I don't know if you guys have any insight on that, or if that, you know, is something that came up.
Yeah, well, with NCDOT, you know, the city has relationships with NCDOT and we know how to work together. So, you know, they will be included on any physical infrastructure on any state road. So, but yeah, we work together all the time. The railroad is a different story, and you know, I think it was more just recognizing that it's there and accommodating it. Aaron, I don't know if there's any other kind of thoughts you may have around the railroad.
No, you know, I think we always acknowledge that they play a role in whether some of these project ideas are successful or not, or certainly impact the timing. And I think you will see that reflected in a lot of the priorities are, you know, we're not pushing for things that we know are going to end up taking, you know, decades to get some kind of approval from the railroad or something like that. We're really looking at what we're able to accomplish, you know, within our own sort of means, looking for partners, stuff like that. But we're, you know, we're not we're not going to poke the beast on, on some of these projects, because that wouldn't really be fair to just push forward things that we know will take too long or we can't get done. So
hopefully the projects posted will occur within your lifetime, as opposed
that
to the
would be my hope. That
Graham
would be my
Street
hope.
extension.
Yeah.
Who's the oldest person on this call? We want it within their lifetime. All right. I think if that's everybody, Jack, I think Brent got back in. I saw a message from him, but I'm so challenged. I cannot multitask on some of these things. So hopefully Brent is back in. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. Brent,
thank you, Aaron, for reposting.
Brent, did you have any questions? Did you on this presentation from the city? Maybe you missed some of it, but it will be in the recording.
Yeah, no, ma'am, I'm sorry. No, I just wanted to let you know, yes, I am back in, and thank you to Aaron for reposting the link in the chat.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys. I'm going to, I don't know, I guess you have stopped sharing, so I can go back.
We're seeing you, Teresa.
You're seeing me? Uh-oh.
And Cindy,
okay.
thank you very much for your time and the presentation. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you all so much.
So hopefully we'll get the
Bye,
link for comments, etc. on the first draft. We'll be able to actually flip through that, and we'll get some printed copies that we can distribute if people don't want to read it online.
Yep, just let me know if there's anyone who needs it printed, and I'll make sure to email you with the link when it's posted.
Okay, wonderful. Do you know how many pages it is? Just thinking about printing some.
It's up there. It's not over.
I think I counted. I saw it just at one. I believe it's 117.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you'll want us to print it.
Some of us have like Hewlett Packard, and being retired, we asked for 100 copies. So we have Hewlett Packard printing, and we signed up for 100 copies being retired per month. So I saw it was 117.
Okay, well, thanks for that. So yeah, we'll try to get a good few distributed,
don't
so
have printers
everybody
at all. So
yeah, wonderful. All right, folks. Sylvia, do you want to introduce real quick? You missed the introductions.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Sylvia Cannon. I'm president of Derita Statesville Road, and also president of the Allen Hills, Cary Hills community. We appreciate all the effort that's been done. But don't take this personally, but I'm going to make a statement. This is not the first time since I have been in Charlotte that this has been tried to fix and work with Derita and the Sugar Creek. And it's still, that was done when they took us in from the county into the city, and no progress to speak of has been made in that 40-something years. So I pray and hope that what you have done moves some of it along further than what we have seen progress in this area of Charlotte. So thank you for your work. We look forward to working with you, and let us know if there's anything that we can do to help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sylvia. All right, folks, if that's everything, I am going to move on. I've just got a few little things to share. and this is all, you know, bigger picture, or, you know, projects that are ongoing at the same time. This is the Charlotte 2040 plan, and the policy map that was adopted recently by City Council. And I just pulled in a little Zoom, not to be confused with Zoom meetings, but just zoomed in on the sort of downtown Derita area to show how in the new mapping system, which is sort of the new zoning system, how downtown Derita is classified. And none of it is too surprising. It's pretty much the existing. I don't know that maybe around here, this neighborhood center designation may be a slightly new concept from the old zoning maps. And then this blue is campuses. So those large swaths of property, of which we have a few. I'm not sure why, and maybe I didn't zoom out enough because it doesn't show. Or maybe AME Zion, this section over here where the church is not considered campus. But this is the large headquarters for AME Zion, so that's an example of a campus designation. We have manufacturing and logistics, and this is that industrial cluster that they were mentioning before, all along North Graham. That's the purple. And if you zoom out on this, which you won't be able to on this, it's just you know, a picture, but there is a link and you'll be able to explore the whole map. This yellow is single family neighborhood 1, which is pretty much single family townhomes and does allow duplexes and triplexes, depending on HOA restrictions and, you know, lot sizes, etc. There's some requirements around that. And also accessory dwelling units allowed in this neighborhood 1 zone, which is like a secondary cottage or something like that on any of these existing lots. And obviously, you know, it can't be done on a tiny lot, but, you know, some of our half-acre or more lots on Allen Hill, in Allen Hills, for instance, could potentially accommodate stuff like that. Neighborhood 2 is the slightly more dense townhomes, multifamily, so apartments, etc. And that's the starker orange over here. This is the new, well, this is that little parcel off Rumpel Road that had some townhomes. So it's sort of a little island of higher density right there. But mostly those will be along these bigger corridors, the roads that, you know, have more capacity and so on. That's where that is. And I've linked to all of this in the city. So this map has been adopted, and then, you know, there's going to be a process of refinement for various property owners if they want to, you know, they're considering a use that isn't allowed by the current zoning. There would still be some kind of rezoning process. But this sort of updates the map to, like, by right, you know, what will be permitted in these various place types by right. The next slide just sort of details those different designations. So you can see downtown Derita has been designated as a neighborhood center. So there's a whole lot of goals and standards around that designation, which fits perfectly and actually aligns with even the 1985 small area plan that Sylvia was probably referencing. So the vision for downtown Derita hasn't changed that much. It's a matter of getting that public and private investment and modernizing and redeveloping some of that underused space, land over there. So that's just some definitions and some examples of where they are in Derita. These are the main types that we see within downtown Derita, as well as the broader kind of Derita area between 85 and 77 and Harris Boulevard. So that heart-shaped little area on the map. The Unified Development Ordinance, that's the other piece. That's the actual regulatory piece for all of this. Sorry, somebody's making some noise and I can't figure out who it is. Please mute yourself if you're not muted. The Unified Development Ordinance is the actual regulations that is trying to pull together, simplify, consolidate, and update all the regulations that guide development and zoning. And it's been open for public comment for several months. The whole process has been going on with an ordinance advisory committee for 5 years. And so some of these have risen to the top as kind of hot button issues, and the Ordinance Advisory Committee is busy discussing these. And so I just summarized them here so that, you know, if you have thoughts, because eventually City Council will be voting on this stuff. So we want to be sure, you know, that we have some input into these regulations. Short-term rentals is the one that really got the most comments. And seemingly some parts of town are having big problems with short-term rentals, where they're being operated almost as an event space or a party space. And the effects are spilling over into, you know, just quiet residential areas. And that I'm not aware of problems that anybody in Derita generally. I know Davis Lake had some issues with homes that were rented on Airbnb, and then what happens is folks rent the entire house and then they have a huge party that, you know, involves hundreds of cars and people and noise, etc. So those are some of the problems that they're trying to solve with the regulation and the restrictions. And, you know, with any regulations and restrictions, we've got to try to balance that against unintended consequences. So that's a big thing. Some of the questions were, you know, should they be allowed in neighborhood 1 and neighborhood 2? And should there be like a distance requirement, so you can't have 2 next to each other? Stuff like that. So if you have any ideas or care to get involved, that's one issue for sure. And then trees was another thing. A new requirement or a new standard in the UDO requires a permit for removal of a healthy tree that is greater than 30 inches. So, you know, some of our more beautiful older trees in Allen Hills, we have a lot of those beautiful oak trees. And I have to say, it breaks my heart when people just take down healthy trees. But a question again, you know, how should the city get involved with trying to regulate trees on private property? And then parking, of course, is a huge hot button issue, especially in the parts of town that are becoming more and more dense, especially with you know, restaurants and things that attract crowds and people in their cars. And how much parking should they be required to provide? And so parking is another hot button issue. And so just keep an eye. You can go and watch all the meetings and the recordings, read the actual draft, all those things. These are some of the things that are kind of new and maybe changing from what was there before. The rest of it is really just trying to consolidate and then try to deal with where things contradict each other. And there's still a lot of discussion about how we're actually going to balance all these things that conflict, like requiring sidewalks and trying to protect trees and making housing affordable. You know, some of those things just don't work together. You can't have it all. So how do we prioritize? And that's what our political leaders need to hear from us. You know, how we think things should be prioritized. A couple of fun items from Derita in the news, and I put the links here. Several Derita neighborhoods, and Kerry, and I think Vincent is not on this call, from Potter's Glen, and Kerry Miller from Avalon at Mallard Creek. They were both interviewed by the Washington Post, and actually the New York Times was also doing a story on the same thing. So I'm not sure when we'll see that published, but look for that. You know, as things rise to become an issue in neighborhoods, people figure out ways to deal with it. And this is particularly rising number of rentals in neighborhoods, rising number of corporate absentee type landlords, and maybe not vetting their tenants properly, and then the tenants causing problems. So that article is there, and I'll get through my slides, and then if anybody wants to comment on that, let us know. And Ratcliffe's Flowers, if you don't know, Derita Floral Supply is a long-time family business. They're right at the corner of North Graham and West Sugar Creek, kind of in there. It's a bit of a nondescript building, I should say, not business. They're very significant. They're a wholesale florist supplier, so you don't just you and I can't just go and buy flowers there. But they had a very cute story, Queen City News, and I put the link here about that sign. That sign is still up in the square, or the green, sorry, uptown, where the original florist shop was. And the original building is even incorporated, so you can watch that for some fun history about a Derita company and a Derita family, really business owners and property owners. They also own the property that has the food line on Sugar Creek in North Graham, as well as the property across the street with Players and the Nile, etc. So that's that, and then we'll get to politics, and we may hear from some folks on the call, but I wanted to just let you know all the local races that are going on in Derita. We're mainly, we have one precinct, which happens to be my precinct in Sylvia, precinct 26, that is now in Council District 1. And then, and we join 2 Hidden Valley precincts, also newly in precinct 1. So that'll be a new experience for us. And these are the candidates that have filed to represent those of us that are in precinct 26. And then a lot of y'all are in District 2, which is currently Malcolm Graham, and he has a few challenges. And then District 4, currently Renee Perkins Johnson, and then she has 2 challenges there. So,
Teresa,
yes.
with that everybody needs to be aware. You see multiple names. There will not be a runoff this year. If you have 2 people within, you know, I don't know what it originally was, 200 points or whatever they could challenge. That is not going to happen this year. If they win by 20 points, they are the winner.
Oh, wow.
There will not be a runoff. It will go from primary to the November voting.
Okay. Well, no, the city council, the local elections are, the primary will be May 17th. So that in the primaries, we'll be trying to narrow the field to you know, 1 candidate in the general. So, you know, you'll be in the primary, you'll have the opportunity to choose between these 3. And maybe you can tell me, Sylvia, if you are unaffiliated or registered Democrat, registered Republican, do you know offhand what primaries you can vote in?
You walk up to, when you sign in, you pick which one you want.
Okay.
Whether you want to go Democrat or whether you want to go Republican. And then that's where you have, because that will be what is set on your machine to come up and you vote on. You pick which one.
So you have to pick which primary, and this is if you're unaffiliated. If you are registered with one or the other, then you vote in that primary.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. I hope everybody understands that, and there are some opportunities to meet the candidates, and I don't know if we'll get anything pulled together on with Derita, but there are a couple of events that, and I'll thank Marjorie Parker and the Hidden Valley folks for sharing some of these dates and information with me. So if you want a chance to meet some of the candidates, of course, there's a whole at-large slate as well, which I don't know, I haven't counted them exactly, but there's a few people that we know that are running again. Patrick Cannon, who was a previous mayor, Smudgy Mitchell has thrown his hat in the ring. And then we even have a bunch of Republican candidates for city council at large. So take a look at that. Those are the folks, there'll be 4 that eventually make it to city council, but they don't represent a geographic district, so they provide that balance, hopefully, that maybe has a bigger picture than just the constituents within a particular district, as we know that some of this might, you know, some things may conflict. Our desires in Derita and, you know, the rest of the city, etc. So
one of the other things that has come up as the city council is going to vote on whether these should be 4-year service or 2 years. Currently it's 2. If you have a for or against,
yes,
you need to let the city council know before they vote, if you know whether you're for the 4 years or against it. Yeah, everybody has their own opinion, so vote your own choice.
Right, thank you. Yeah, we'll try to let you know when that might be coming up for a vote.
It's coming up fairly soon.
Yeah, so they just voted themselves like 100% raise, and they illegally extended their terms by 6 months. So they should be shorter instead of longer. Personally, sorry for interjecting, but that definitely needed to be said. They voted themselves a giant raise, Okay, yeah, y'all should probably vote for a different party.
Yep.
I have to correct, I doubt it's 100% raised, but yeah, it is a little ironic that, you know, they get to vote on whether they, you know, get to stick around. And these, yeah, this very long session, because the delay of the vote from, you know, last November, which is when it should have been, was also partly caused by the redistricting maps, by disputes over that, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's important. I'm kind of with you guys too, that shorter terms better, especially something like this. Although, you know, you get some people who, we don't have term limits, so people get voted back in time after time as well.
Yeah, time after time after time.
Yeah. All right, well, we will look at that. I've tried to contact everybody, and I don't have contact for some people, like Cedric Dean I don't have, and these folks running in District 2 I don't have, and there are some folks in the at large as well, and I don't know anything about the mayoral candidates. Sorry, Mohammed Mustafa didn't need to get a trademark sign. He's a Republican. I don't know why. I guess my software changed that. Yeah, so I don't know anything about the City of Charlotte mayor candidates either. So those, again, there'll be a primary, and then we would presumably have a Democrat and a Republican competing in the general, which will be in July. Just so make sure that you know those dates, guys, because it's very much an off year. And
Teresa, if I may interject.
Yeah.
Yes. This is Charlene. If you need any information pertaining to any of the candidates, I will be more than happy to get that information to you so that they can all be on an even playing field. If that's something that you would like, I can surely get it because I know pretty much all of them.
Yes. Oh, if you have contact information, yes. I sent an email out to everybody that I have contact information for. So we'd be looking for everyone on District 4, District 2, and District 1, and then the at-large. And I'm just missing a few. I know I don't have David Rice and also James Mitchell. I don't, you know, his email I have is with the company and he's no longer with them. So I don't have a new contact for him. So yeah, any, and I've put an email out to everybody that I have, and I'll try to catch all the others that I've missed and just ask them to provide something for us, and we'll try to put it in, you know, just an email blast, a biography and a little statement or something, that so that people have a chance to get in front of the people in Derita.
Absolutely. Just let me know. Miss Margie Parker is the president of Hidden Valley Association. So send her email and I'll make sure that you and her correspond, and she'll be able to get that information to you.
Okay, yes, I have been. Marjorie's been very helpful. Thank you, Marjorie, if you're still on the call. She has been very helpful. And so let's get to some of these dates. If you want to meet some of the candidates, now these are in different districts, so there may be a different focus, but if you want to meet the candidates, there is one, the first one coming up next week on Tuesday, is at Snug Harbor in Plaza Midwood, and that is hosted by the Plaza Midwood Business Association. It'll be chaired by Larkin Eggleston, and he will have questions for the 3 District 1 candidates. So it'll be a good opportunity to kind of, if you're in District 1, Derita, that's only those of us in Precinct 26, and then of course the 2 Hidden Valley precincts are also with us in that battle. So that will be a good chance to meet the District 1 candidates. And then Tuesday, April 26th, NODA has a candidates forum. That'll be more of the at-large and probably District 1 again focus, because all of NODA is in District 1. We in Derita have, you know, the distinct pleasure of being split into 3 different districts, which is not a bad thing, because, you know, it means we've got, you know, some influence over hopefully 3 different districts. So Wednesday, the 27th, the Plaza Eastway partners are also, and now they're mostly in District 5, but they also have some precincts in District 1. So again, that will be there. I was looking for something for District 4, and hopefully Renee or somebody will let me know if there's anything going on for District 4 or District 2. And maybe Derita is actually the logical choice to hold such a candidates forum, but I don't know what we can pull together in this time frame. So we have some time, maybe before, maybe May's meeting, we'll actually try to get some of our, it's a huge number if we're trying to cover 3 districts and all the at-large candidates, but we'll see what we can pull together for next meeting on that. But these are the dates for some of those if you want to get involved and start meeting the candidates. And if you go to any of these, talk to me. I'm glad to make you a name badge that has your name and Derita on it, so that when you talk to any of these candidates, they know what part of town you're from. Thank you, Brent. I see some emails. Hopefully I'll be able to access this chat in the recording and pull all of that. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you guys to email me at deritanews@gmail.com. Just any of this contact information I would love to have, so we can, if nothing else, we can just pull together a little bio and elevator speech from each candidate just for Derita. And maybe we'll even do it as a video submission. So I'm now thinking out loud, but try to pull that together before the primary so that we can be very informed going in. All the stuff I've been talking about, here's the map, the city council districts, and you can see this over here is precinct 26, and I just focused on Derita, not to leave Hidden Valley out, but Hidden Valley is these over here, the 2 Hidden Valley precincts that are down, I'm sorry, this is them here, that are now in District 1, which is the pink. And then District 2 is the blue, and District 4 is the yellow. And all of these districts have a sort of center of gravity. So we really try to make sure that Derita does not get forgotten, because we are not considered a center of gravity in any of these districts. So we got to make some noise.
District 1 goes all the way to Park Road.
Yeah, District 1 includes Uptown and Plaza Midwood and NODA. So, you know, those that becomes sort of the center of gravity is the best way I find to think of it, where the voices are the loudest. Maybe there's a concentration of wealth and just time that people have, which is related to wealth, to, you know,
there's not any
some kind of
presence. Never mind. I don't need to make that statement.
Well, everyone's up for re-election, Sylvia. So, you know, Larkin's not standing again for District 1. So we have the opportunity to shake things up.
I've met 3 of the candidates for the 3 candidates. Charlene, because of this.
Yes.
one of the other candidates came to our Island Hills meeting.
Okay, yeah.
All
right. Well, good. I will, once I'm done here, we'll do a quick update from the neighborhood. So I'd like to hear that update. But I was just talking about the center of gravity in District 2. Again, part of Uptown is in District 2, and then the whole historic West Side falls into District 2. So that becomes, you know, a center of gravity as well. And then North Lake, North Lake, I'm sorry, is in District 4. So District 4 has North Lake, they have Prosperity Village, they have University of Charlotte, you know, UNCC. So, and of course, University City itself. So lots of people to make some noise and get attention. And we need to make sure that they realize that part of Derita is still in their district. And anyway, that's it. And I just put the county here. County's less complicated. I think we mostly fall into District 3 for Mecklenburg County Commission. And we don't talk enough about the county on these calls. It would be nice to be able to spend some more attention on the county, because of course the county is schools and healthcare, etc. So parks and rec. So, you know, we want to be sure that we're involved in those issues too. Cole Memorial, I'm sure you guys have already seen that it is definitely in the process of being demolished. I got a couple of pictures from a neighbor who got in pretty close and took some pictures. Very sad to see. The contractor is allowing people to come and collect a brick, or and maybe you've done so, because I'm sure they've started to clear the site by now, but
he has. And if you want a brick that was in the church itself, not the additions in the back, there's a pile of bricks between the debris that she's showing and Ebenezer. Those are the church bricks, and you're allowed to go get what you want off of them.
Okay, thank you. So I know they ask that people come after sort of working hours when the contractors are not there working, and that's really all I know. I don't know about like the steeple and stuff like that. Do you, Sylvia?
I'm sorry, you didn't know about what?
Oh, the steeple. I know, I think Mary Ann Baldwin wanted that or something, but
well, the steeple part, the lower part of the steeple was down on the building. That's what the white you see sticking out, looks like aluminum sticking out the side of your picture. The lower part of the steeple, that's the upper part, I don't know. It was still standing when I went up and talked to one of the construction people. And the problem, they are saying they prefer that you come after the construction people leave, because they are using front loaders and big equipment, and it's a safety. So they would prefer that you be there when they're not, because of the safety for it. But yes, they allowed the fire department to come in and do some training. Anybody that rode by saw holes in the roof. So it was utilized both for, you know, things for us, bricks we could pick up, training for the fire department, and other things that I think the police had a little thing up there one time. So it was getting used while it was being demolished as a learning tool, I think is the word. Yeah. My understanding is the cross out front will stay. Since the buildings that they're going to build are going to be run by the Methodist Church.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the site is still owned by their, I guess, or it's going to be developed by the the Methodist Church. The Wesleyan, I believe, is an arm, kind of development arm of the Methodist Church. So starting with some senior housing, we'll see over there about 100 units, if I remember correctly. So once this is all cleared, we'll start to see some construction. And then I just had a little thing to share. Actually, this came from Ed Driggs, who's City Council District 7 rep, and he did a little summary of the petitions, the rezonings, and I just thought it was interesting because it's just kind of what they went through in the last rezoning meeting. They had 19 decisions, 407 acres. This is within the city of Charlotte that are being rezoned. And so he breaks it down here, the acres and then the district that it's in, and not a lot in Derita. And I don't have enough detail to know which we're actually talking about here. So some of these that are in District 4 or District 2 might be Derita, but this is big picture. This is the whole city of Charlotte. And the one thing he was also pointing out, the hearings, which is sort of the public hearings, which is the stage before City Council makes a decision and a vote. There's another 300 acres in consideration there, and a lot of these are outside of the city of Charlotte. This is the, I think, extraterritorial jurisdiction. A lot out Steel Creek Way and some in District 4. So the other thing about the actual rezoning decisions, 9 of the 19 rezonings were in District 3, which is the Steel Creek area. And that's kind of, we know that that's where we're seeing most of our growth is Steel Creek area of Charlotte, and then District 4 kind of between North Lake and Prosperity Village and Back Creek, you know, all of that former farmland, etc., slowly being redeveloped. So that was just a little summary, so we can see on one page and one sheet just how much is going on. And this is the rezonings. This doesn't take into account any of the by right development that wouldn't need a rezoning to go ahead. So mind-boggling, lots and lots of construction. Derita specific, we still have just the 3 rezonings that are still pending. We did have the public hearing. This is Allen Hills, the 7.5 acres. The report is there, so you can click on this link and go and read the meeting report and the minutes from that community meeting that was held. And then next up will be the public hearing. Of course, the zoning committee and the planning commission, they discuss these rezoning petitions, and the staff looks at the whole thing and makes their report. So once all that's done, or maybe concurrently, the public hearing and the will be done, and then it will be scheduled for a vote by City Council. So you can click on this link here and get updates on that, and we'll try to keep an eye on that, see where it is in the process and when it comes up for the public hearing and the vote. A little plug for Nadine and her class coming up next week. This will be in the slide. There isn't a link, but if you send me a link, Nadine, it might be easier for people. I can attach it to the slide, and we can
I just
go
put it
to
in for
this
you.
class. Sorry?
I just put the link in there. It's the meeting. I don't have an actual link, but the meeting ID for Zoom is there and the passcode is there.
Yeah, Zoom should provide you with a link that you can share, which makes it easier for people to just click and be taken straight there. But we'll move on. Neighborhood updates, folks. Anybody got anything? I know
Teresa,
Sylvia just had a meeting.
Teresa, can I ask one thing?
Yeah.
What I was thinking about was trying to get into our business partners on Sugar Creek Road with the information for the meeting. It's great information for business owners as well as folks that are just trying to make sure their homes are clean. If there's somebody who's willing to walk Sugar Creek with me, I'll go ahead and try to get some flyers ready for it for later this week.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and we do have an email list of a lot of those business operators, so that will go to them as part of this.
Okay.
But yeah, we do, and as part of just the playbook process, I think it's definitely time to walk up and down and meet the new business owners and get people involved and connected with us. So anybody interested in joining that effort, contact me or Nadine or Nadine or me. And yeah, we'll try to split that up and see if we can cover some ground. All right, anybody else got any neighborhood updates to share?
Hi, this is Carrie. I don't have any updates, but I do want to just throw something out there. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Not quite sure if anyone's noticed, but there's a pile of trash and debris behind the old Safeway parking lot where the dumpsters are, and people are coming and dropping off trash. And I just want to know, like, what started that? Who's cleaning it up? Who should we reach out to get that taken care of? Because it is piling. I'm not quite sure what the status is as of today, but as recent as last weekend, I rode by there and I mean, I saw old strollers. I mean, bags of trash. People are dropping off. I mean, panels, wood paneling, and then you have the next neighborhood right there sharing that land. And I know at this point now it's getting warm. We're going to start seeing rats, cats, and whoever and whatever else back there. So I just really want to know, like, who to reach out to in regards to that, since the Safeway is no longer there.
Now, when you say Safeway, you're talking about CVS?
I'm sorry, Save a Lot.
Save a Lot, CVS, all of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 311 for sure. Reported on 311 and then yeah, I'll take a look at that as well. But 311 is the best way to start the paper trail and the action list for the city, and it will be the city's job to enforce whatever is going on over there, whether and it may be that the tenant over there is putting trash from their renovation, and then residents see it as an opportunity to dump some of their stuff, and that's just how it snowballs and causes problems for us. But 311 for sure, do that if you haven't done that already, and I'll check it out. And I think that falls into, Sylvia, you can help me with who's the code enforcement person for that section.
I don't have a name.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know I have it in my email, so I'll try to.
I've got it written down here, but I can't pull a name out of my.
Yeah, same here. So as usual, Derita I think the dividing line is Sugar Creek, and it may even be Mallard Creek. So I don't know offhand which city.
I think
District.
Sugar Creek is the dividing.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, I'll try to get you the name of the actual person who's over that part of code enforcement as well, Carrie. So.
Okay, thank you. And one more thing.
Okay.
So I also am hoping for at least, you know, some direction. So I live in a private community in Mallard Creek, Avalon at Mallard Creek. We're facing Mallard Creek Road, and then the other side we're facing Rockwell Church Road. We have a fence around the entire perimeter. However, we need to get, we have a very old retaining system, drainage system that was created by the developers, and it's dry rot, and there's a whole bunch of sitting water back there. The city has said, because it is within the inside of our fence, it is our responsibility. However, the drainage issue is connected to the drainage back there is connected to the city once you get on the other side of the fence. I need to know, like, what would be the first steps in kind of challenging this, and, you know, who would be able to maybe start the conversation or shepherd a relationship, because we're willing to pay for it, at least pay for half, but because of those pipes being so old and it is city water and sewer water, we're just trying to see what else we could do because now we're getting all this heavy rain, it's just sitting back there, and it's time to pull everything up and get it all updated.
Mel, maybe. I don't know if Mel is still on the call, but stormwater is the city department that's over all of that drainage and runoff, etc.
I think Sylvia has had some recent
And
experience
Sylvia too, yeah.
with drainage problems, as I recall, at the end of a road, something. Sylvia, can you chime in?
I can, and what you have to start with 311. If it is not documented through 311, just tell them that you really need to talk to somebody there. Most of the time they will put you through, but if they don't, find you somebody at Stormwater that is out working and ask them specifically for their boss's number. And then you go straight in.
I had water in the creek behind my house, and I did call 311, and a nice young lady came out. It was like maybe oily type looking water, and she came out and looked at it and said, no, everything was okay. Thank you, Sylvia. I appreciate that little heads up. And it worked out well.
But if you can't get through on 311, you got to play dirty. Go find you a stormwater person and ask for their boss's name and number.
Okay.
And I'll tell you where they're working right now is on Allen Road South.
You're right.
If you want to find stormwater workers, that's where they are that I know of. But yeah, 311, as always, I know it's
well, the department,
you have to start the reporting process there, and then you know, go.
The departments get their recognition and their background in case there is a problem if it is documented through 311, and that prevents a lot of lawsuits also.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, y'all.
Sylvia, you need to run for office.
Honey, I would be kicked out the next day because I'm gonna say what I want to, and I'm 81. I don't need all that crap. So
I know it, right?
Yep. But you're the only candidate in this area anywhere. The one that came to speak to us lives close to Park Road Park or Freedom Park, not Freedom. What's the one down on
Myers Park?
Tell me, no, Sylvia, tell me who it was that came to Allen Hill's meeting.
Marjorie, wait a minute. I don't know without looking.
Oh, okay.
Hang on a minute, it's right here.
Yeah, I've got the list, so maybe you'll
Dante Anderson.
Okay, Dante Anderson.
And
Okay.
she lives Freedom Park. We go all the way to Freedom and on past down towards Park Road.
So how is she going to understand the needs of Allen Hills if she lives all the way in Freedom Park?
Good question. She assured us that supposedly, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a background politician, so I know how it works. You gotta say what you need to say to get elected. And I told her up front, I'm sorry, it's such a long thing, long district. I don't understand how anybody representing that, and that's you too, Charlene, you know me, I'm gonna say it like it is, can understand the needs from on the Park Road side and what we got here. Now, they did take the section of Myers Park away. They put them in, they took the money away from us. They're not in District 1. There's none of the Myers Park in District 1, although we go down that way.
Okay, so yeah, and then Billy Madelon is a very prominent Plaza Midwood. And I don't want to make this all about District 1 because actually the District 1 part of Derita is just our little precinct 26, which, you know, is worrying to me because we could very easily be forgotten. So I'm glad that Dante Anderson came to Allen Hill's meeting. I mean, that is something that she's trying to learn all of her, you know, potential district. And of course, we know Charlene knows us and she's just up the road. She's a neighbor.
Yeah, we know her.
And then Billy Madelon is a Plaza Midwood guy. He owns or did own the Van Landingham estate, and by all accounts, you know, very upstanding man, and you know, a long track record of good community service, etc. But again, what does he know about us? I don't know.
Well, good luck, y'all.
Yeah, for us in District 1, we've got some things to figure out and some noise to make, I would say. District 4, there's going to be, you know, Renee has a significant challenger in Darlene Heater. I don't know Cedric Dean much at all, but Darlene Heater was, you know, head of the University City Partners, so she has a huge, you know, she has a huge track record and definitely very strong development and planning and that kind of background, which really is something that's needed because a lot of what City Council does, no matter what they sit and promise you and tell you they can do for you, is around land use. And so, you know, that's a big plus to my mind, but I haven't heard or put much attention on what these folks are actually standing on, not to get into too many politics or trying to do neighborhood updates, but I'm glad that Dante came out to Allen Hills. That's good.
Well, I think my interest is because I'm Chief Judge of 26. I need to. I get hit with questions, and you know, I'm not allowed to talk in the precinct, so I'm gonna do my talking outside.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got any neighborhood updates? I need to get somebody here from Greenleaf again. They I know
They're in the
last year, but their whole board resigned. If there was more than one person on the board, I'm not 100% sure, but they're in the throes of having to elect, not neglect, a new board. So that
they have a meeting next week.
Yes.
Who's the contact for Greenleaf? Is it Greenleaf?
Yeah, Greenleaf is over off Gibbon Road, and there's a townhome section and then the single family section. So this is the single family section. They've changed management companies. Shirley Clark was our contact, and she's been on a bunch of these meetings, and
Yeah.
she has worked very hard, picking up trash literally on Gibbon Road and Greenleaf Village, etc. But so I don't know who the new contacts would be. I'll try to reach out. She has resigned, and the entire board, if there was more than one person, I believe they're trying to replace their entire board. So a little bit of upheaval over there. And then Forest Pond as well had a big change in their board and president, etc. And their new president I would like to hear from at some point. So you guys, anybody knows these people? And I do see that Marjorie, you had your hand up, Marjorie.
Before Marjorie, before you speak, it behooves me. I have to say something real quick. Thank you for allowing me to be on your Zoom. Just remember that I am running for City Council for District 1. And yes, I have, I'm not a stranger to Derita. I'm definitely not a stranger to Hidden Valley. I live in Hidden Valley. And to give an update, we're still fighting for Hidden Valley as well as Derita, because we're still in that litigation. Even though the Board of Election is moving forward, the judge still has the last say in what really goes on. So I just want to make sure you understand and know that within Charlene, you have someone who is truly fighting for the community. You can have a long list of accolades all day long. You can be on planning committees. You can do all of these things, but until we have a seat at the table and make sure that our voices are being heard, we're going to continue to spiral down, down, and down. So my goal is to make sure that we're uplifted. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't know. There's a lag over here, so I'm sorry if I cut you off. Does District 1 also cover Holly Acres?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so I want to learn. I've been on these calls, I've been listening, and I am making my way around to all of the precincts and all of the different organizations and associations. It's just that it's so overwhelming because we have been thrusted into an area where we don't know anything about. So it's hard for us as candidates to play the catch-up game, but it's an opportunity for us to really dive into the city and hold the city accountable for what has been happening. And I'm that type of person. I'm the one that will be able to ask those questions that you want to have asked and answered. We can't keep putting the same type of people in office and expecting a different result. That is the term called insanity. So I just want to make sure that the people on this call know and understand who I am. Look my platform up. When we talk about code enforcement and law enforcement, public safety, that is what my platform is all about. Making sure that we have what we need from our city to make sure we're thriving. Please, so just remember that. CharleneHenderson.com. This is not even a spiel. I come because I have community. I have my people in my heart. If you don't have a heart for this, you ain't gonna be able to get through this. If you don't have tough skin for this, you ain't gonna be able to get through with this. So my goal is to make sure y'all know that I am here for you. Teresa, I'm here for you. Hidden Valley is showing up and we're showing out because we're not standing down anymore. We're dusting off and we're pulling up our boots and we're working hard to make sure we stay relevant, make sure that our preservation is intact. And that's the same with Hidden Valley, with Derita. You just have to force the city to do what it's supposed to do as their job. We've been so lazy. I'm not saying we're not lazy, but we've been kind of lazy on certain things and thinking that it was going to get better. No, let's wake up. Let's start pushing back and demanding what we need out of our city council. And that is why I am running. And you can visit my platform all day long and you can call me all day long. I'm accessible. I wouldn't even be on here if I wasn't accessible because we are family. regardless of whether our race, color, creed, we are family and we have to stick together. CharleneHenderson.com. And I thank you for this time. And please don't forget, I'm always accessible and I'm here. So you tell me what you need because I work for you once I get on there, but I'm gonna need y'all help. I really am gonna need your support.
Thank you, Charlene. Well, you definitely have the advantage because you're the only one on this call and I appreciate you showing up. So thank you. And you're right. So much of what we need is just the basics, the stuff that the city should already be doing in every neighborhood, no matter what. The street cleaning and the litter and the lighting and the law enforcement and so on. Yes. And we understand the city does not, patrol our streets, like code enforcement doesn't necessarily do that. They may, but they don't have the capacity to see every property every day or even once a week. So it's up to us to do the reporting, and if we don't get the results from 311, then the next step is our city council rep.
That's right. And so I want to tell the young lady, hold them accountable. You cannot not hold them accountable. They're supposed to do their job. And if you have a concern and a care for your community, your city, your streets, you start with that city council and you bug them until they do their job. That's why, one of the reasons why I'm running, because I've been out here doing those jobs, been doing that work and not getting paid a dime because I love my community where I live. So that's what you need in a city council, someone to love their communities, not come from another side of town and come and say, hey, I got the best option for you. No, we have to have our stakeholders on that table, which is us. So I just, wanted to make sure y'all knew that. I'm that type of person that's going to fight for you. You can call me and say, hey, listen, this is what we need. Well, then I'm going to go to bat for you, period.
Thank you. Nadine and Marjorie, I see you guys have your hands up.
Very briefly, I want you to invite you to the Hidden Valley Play Street and Festival and Fundraiser on May 21st at Hidden Valley School from 11 to 4. May 21st, Hidden Valley School from 11 to 4. We will have a Hidden Valley Play Street. That's like a block party and festival and fundraiser, festival and fundraiser.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. Nadine, I think you were next with your hand up.
Yes.
Hasheem.
Sugar Springs neighborhood is coming back alive. We have a meeting tonight. We've been meeting for the last couple of months. We're looking at getting dates out for our beautification project, as well as having a block party. We're in the process of trying to revitalize and get all of our neighbors. We've had a lot of new neighbors come in. We have a lot of renters, so we want them to know that everybody has the ability to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Hasheem, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just would like to share an update. I've been awarded the placemaking grant for Derita. So I found that news out a couple of days ago, so I'm pretty excited about it. So what that'll be is either street furniture or a bus stop if we can manage it with cats in the Derita Sugar Creek area in that downtown. So we'll have a kickoff meeting somewhere in April with the city. And then from May to September, we will be meeting with the community and kind of brainstorming designs and coming up with the final location for it. So that's exciting. And the project should be built by the end of the year.
Oh, that is so exciting. Definitely say congratulations. Yeah, send us some information that I can share with these slides going out this time.
Sure.
So people are aware and we can get involved in the whole process. That's maybe explain just from the beginning what it is in case people don't know.
So the placemaking grant seeks to beautify the areas of Charlotte. And what my group proposed was a bus stop bench, because we noticed that along the corridor, there's not a lot of benches on the bus stops. So we're going to try to be using a recycled plastic and some furniture to beautify the area and make a iconic bench for the Derita neighborhood.
Very exciting, and hopefully it's something that we can repeat and place around that, you know, will let folks know they're in Derita, in downtown Derita, and they've got a place to sit and stay a while.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much for your letter of recommendation.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
I'm
you're welcome.
excited.
You're welcome. And congratulations on getting the grant. We look forward to working with you.
Yeah, congratulations. I didn't realize it would be so quick. I figured the city would probably take a few years to make a decision. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Okay, anybody else got any neighborhood updates or anything? I did have one question that came to me via email. I don't know if anybody on this call would know. The church on Hubbard Road, that it's Jehovah's Witnesses, but apparently the church itself closed, and maybe another organization is renting the space. We're just trying to figure out who's over there and what the plan is, and don't really know how to find out, except if somebody has connections over there. So if anybody does have an idea, the property is on Hubbard Road, sort of around Hedgecrest intersection.
Teresa, Mark has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. Yes, you did tell me you had an update. So sorry about that, Mark. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, thanks. Just real quick. Remember I was talking about, I was cryptically talking about a park update.
Yes.
So the county acquired a 3.4 acre parcel that they intend that the Parks and Rec wanted, right? So the county acquired it and it's going to the Parks and Rec department. The adjacent, and I sent you a picture to your email. I don't know if you can pull it up or if that would take too long or whatever, but it's the adjacent property is also going to be sold to, and it's currently under contract, and so to the county. So it'll be about 6.5 acres total that the county is going to get, and it's off of Mineral Springs in Sugar Springs area, neighborhood area, and then they're also looking at a larger parcel, and they wouldn't tell me because I guess it's not happening yet, and there's some sort of confidentiality that they're worried about. But I suspect it's Jordan Park, which used to be owned by Northside Baptist, but they sold it to I don't know the deal, so I won't try to speculate. But they sold it to some dude a few years ago, and so it's just been sitting there fallow and unused. Right, but I think that might be what they want to acquire. It's a large parcel, it's flat-ish, and they're looking to put in a recreational facility like maybe a few ball fields and stuff like that.
Wonderful. So that's you're speculating that is the 6.5 acre parcel, or is that something different?
No, 6.5 acre parcel is halfway done. Okay. And the other one is currently being done. So it's
okay.
6.5, and that's halfway done and halfway in the pipeline. And then this other large parcel is much larger than 6 acres.
Okay.
Yeah.
We used to have our neighborhood picnics at Jordan Park before the church took it over.
Okay. a good spot if they would just cut the grass.
Yeah. It was a great situation for all of the developments in the area.
Yeah, it was strange that it was still seemingly being used and all, and then right when the pandemic started, they put a fence around it. If I'm remembering correctly, but yeah, hopefully that will soon be a great community asset that we can enjoy. Thanks for that, Mark. And I see Mel has a hand up.
Yes, speaking of parks, I was going to ask Dr. Penn, but I don't think she's part of the meeting any longer. I'm real interested in input for the new park that's destined to be at Neal Road and IBM, mainly kind of touching on connectivity and access issues. Teresa, as you know, that's very close proximity to where my significant other lives, and just real interested in having some input. It looks like it might be a fairly sizable park. It's great to know these parks are happening or will happen.
Yeah, that piece that Mel is talking about, and I'm not sure if I can get to a map quickly, is kind of over here off of IBM Drive. The county has acquired it from IBM. It was part of what they called their surplus land. And it's a solid 50 acres or so, and it's all here. So there are considerable barriers, like where Gail lives is on this street over here. And so these creeks are actually barriers to just access. And of course, there are houses all the way over on these streets. So it'll be interesting to figure out how. I imagine that it will all be eventually part of a greenway system all along these creeks. So certainly where they're developing some of those parcels, you know, there's stuff set aside for greenway. So that's that piece that is already also acquired by Mecklenburg County for Future Park. I think they're calling it IBM Park, if I'm not mistaken, but it'll probably get a different name when they finally do it. I don't think it'll be developed as such because it's a very natural area and creeks and some sort of older growth trees, etc. So it's not going to be ball fields and so on. It'd probably be trails and greenway connections. But yeah, definitely need to get more with the county on this, because of course there are parks and recs and schools and then, you know, public health, etc. So we'll try to see if we can get some county people to come and give us a big picture outlook for some of this stuff that's happening. Anybody else got anything? I can't see if I've got any hands up.
Other than Mel's up, I don't see anything.
Yeah, I think Mel's.
I'm done.
He's
done.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, folks, I think that's all I have. Some of these slides are just older slides. I don't have really anything new to add. I have a much better picture of this building, which
they've really come along with that one.
Oh, it looks great. And they've got a bunch of parking spots in the front, and then they've got a solid 10 or so, maybe even 12 spots behind the building. So very excited about what's going to come in there. The broker said he's just overwhelmed with people interested in those spaces in the building. So
good.
Hopefully it'll be good. I mean, I don't know how we get to influence what goes in there, short of opening a coffee shop. But yeah, that's at least the building is looking very good. So I'm guessing it's not going to be sort of uses that we would not be happy with.
It's not gonna look like junk anymore.
Yeah. And Archwell is open. I don't know if any of the seniors have checked that out. I'm not sure all the services that are offered there, but it is a senior health care center. Oh, I did have an update. The old CVS space actually has a sign there now. And I didn't put the picture in here, so I can't tell you, but it's also a senior health care kind of facility of some kind that is going in there where the CVS was. So we'll try to get a bit more information from those folks as we start to walk and talk to those business owners. We'll get a better profile of all the new businesses that are in our area. I don't have anything. I don't know if any of these have actually opened for business. The new African fashion store where the Derita Cleaners was, or Wellpath, which is also healthcare related kind of services. Had a few people reaching out to the owners of this vacant building to try to see if they can rent it. Don't know if anything's come of that, but these are the things that we're sort of, well, this is a big one because it's vacant. And you know, we would like to see some tenants in there. They've got two different spaces. At one point it was a Derita soda shop or something. People.
The front you're talking about used to be Derita Drug.
Derita Drug, and was the soda shop
back there? That was a soda shop restaurant entrance to go into, and that's back in the back.
Okay, yeah, so that's sitting vacant still, as far as I know. And you know, with all the activity and growth and investment and crazy, you know, just people trying to find places for small business and various endeavors, you would think we could fill that space with something nice, but we'll see. I did get an update from Mary Ann Maldwin, who owns the Robinson House. She says they're hoping to have the venue up and running. It is a small events venue, very nice. She's restored the home inside, and it's got a lovely patio outside. So they have an event booked in June, and so they should be coming back online, and hopefully we'll get some more details about what that space is. But definitely think about it if you've got any small family events. You know, think about that as a venue. It's a very, very nice. I call it our Van Landingham. It's right but next to the post office, if you don't know where it is, but it's a beautiful old house and beautiful grounds. And I think the residential development, as you've seen, it's just carrying on the construction. This over here between Mineral Springs and North Graham Street extension, that's largely cleared. I don't have more information about what they're putting there, but it's likely to be townhomes or maybe apartments. It's already zoned multifamily.
Okay, great. Teresa, it's after 11. I've got to run.
Oh, I know. I've got to go as well. All right, folks. I think that's everything. Thank you all for coming, and we'll be sending out the slides and some links. Hasheem, please send me something so that I can make a slide. I didn't think to ask. I didn't think it would be so quick. So I'm very, very happy that that's some good news we can share.
Sure, I will do.
All right, folks, thanks for hanging in there, and we will see you next month. May 5th will be the Cinco de Mayo, and we'll try to get some candidates on, and maybe make that the focus so we can, at least so they know, Derita's in their district. Some of them, not unlike Charlene, don't know that we exist, so need to make some noise. All right, thank you, everybody.
Teresa, are you saving the chat? For some reason, mine will not allow me to do so.
Oh, let me see if I know how to do that.
There should be 3 dots, but there's no 3 dots.
Yeah, I don't see 3 dots myself, so I don't know.
Well, maybe next month.
Yeah, and a lot of these links are in the slides, so
Okay, thank you.
yeah. All right, thanks, guys. Bye, see you next month.
Bye-bye.